Welcome to a new series. This will be on the Calderdale Congress, which I competed in over the weekend, 24th to 26th of May. And it looks like a very hard tournament because this was the under 169 section, but the section below was under 149. So my grade of 153 placed me 9th out of 10 players, which is not good and means every game will be tough. And also a lot of the players were open strength. But let's see how I got on anyway. I said before the start I'd be happy with a win. But I was playing, I was meant to be playing Richard Desmond with white, but I ended up getting Matthew Parsons with black because they forgot that Martin Burns was on a half-point bye. Not good. So here goes. He's 164 long player, but his rapid is 191 and was second seed in the Open at the Huddersfield Rapid Play previous Sunday. And I knew I was going to get some boring London system and probably get ground down, but here goes. D4, of course, London system. I played the Queen's Indian setup, but like a hedgehog setup against it. C5 to unbalance the centre, so now I have a central majority. Now this is what confused me, because usually the pawn goes to C3, but this is more ambitious, this, and it's sort of now a Queen's Indian position rather than London, which of course I didn't know anything about. I just played normal hedgehog moves, but the problem is now I might have some difficulties getting the E5 break in, and I can't play for the B5 minority attack because the pawn's on C4 instead of C3. So I just play for E5. This is the first interesting point of the game, this, because I can double the pawns around white's king, but the engine thinks it's okay, but I don't like it very much because this is a good bishop, this. Let's have a look at it. In fact, I think the double pawns help white because he can play king sticks king in the corner and play rook g1 and hack at the g file. Bishop a6 ideas, not good. So I played bishop f8, getting on with the plan. Knight g5. I have to play g6 now, but I don't mind playing g6 anyway because I want to play bishop g7 next. Because of course if I play h6 then that would be a blunder because I get mated in 2 moves. If I take the bishop then that's mate, and if I move the king then that's checkmate. g6, bishop f1, nice prophylactic move. Bishop g7, bishop eats h2, and now I got worried if I didn't. To be honest, I didn't want to play e5 in this position. I wanted to get another preparatory move. I gave both my rooks in the centre. I wanted to play rook a8 then e5, but I was worried about perhaps this just stopping me playing e5, and I wasn't sure what I could do after this. I found very cramped. So I played e5, and he played d5, which is actually the best move, even though I didn't think much of it at the time. I thought it gives me some potential good counterplay with maybe the c5 square, maybe trying to get a piece into e5 and get rid of that pawn. But so I was expecting d takes c5. I was going to play knight takes e5, and I've got a bit of a weakness on d6, but it's not too hard to defend, and I've got very active pieces now, so black's fine. So d5, e6, kicking a knight, knight h5. My plan basically was to get a knight into f4. It was the start of a double-edged plan. Knight d2, preparing to put a piece on e4, so stopped it with f5. Bishop e2, knight f4. This is where it gets double-edged because he took, and after e takes f4, the interesting point is that well, now I've got 2 bishops against the bishop and knight. I have double pawns though, and I've also opened up the d4 square so we can try and put pieces in on c6 and e6. But also I've got a pawn jolted towards his king as well. And I've also got the e5 square, so it's double-edged. And I was consuming a lot of time on the clock on these decisions. I was miles behind that clock. He plays very fast. Knight f3, aiming for the weaknesses. Knight e5, knight d4. But this is where I started to get in a bit of trouble. Well, I don't think this pawn can be taken on c4 because I didn't want knight e6. He's going to win my dark square bishop, which is probably my best piece. So I have to play queen c8 to keep hold of the knight, and then he can just take here. And I didn't like this. All this for a pawn. I didn't think it was worth it. Knight a4 is quite. Oops. Knight a4 is quite nasty as well. So I moved the bishop, which is a really bad move actually. And I'm surprised he didn't play knight e6 in this position. So I've got to take it. So although I win a pawn, it opens the d5 square up. So knight d5, queen c5, b4, queen c6. Wins his pawn back, and white wins his pawn back with a great position. So I got a bit lucky then. He just played b3 and I played queen e7, getting out of the e6. And when it comes to e6, I can just move my bishop now. I don't have to take it, but he played knight c6. And now I was stuck between queen g5 and queen h4, because the problem is if I take the knight, then it's going to be really bad because it opens d5 up again. I played queen h4, but this is not good. Should have played queen g5. As an immediate threat of f3, and he plays king h1, then bishop b6. In fact, bishop d7 is better, I think. Hitting the knight, it probably has to go back, and then queen h4. Black has got a good counterplay. But I played queen h4, and now knight e4, which he didn't play, is very awkward. Because it's very hard to defend b6, because I can't play rook b8 and I don't want to take his knight. So I've got to play knight d7, which I'd looked at and I thought it was fine for me, even though I have to get rid of my because I thought his knight's offside now, but now this knight is very strong and after something like bishop d3, white's got a really nice position. But I think he just went knight c6 to get rid of my knight, to be honest. We took it. I don't take back with the pawn because that gives white a pass pawn, and also the e5 square is my outpost, so I took the rook, which is good. Knight b4. Knight a4, but now he's playing rook b8. And black's fine, it's equal. Knight b2, bishop d7. Bit of manoeuvring we have now. More pieces come off. I'm thinking now as more pieces came off, I might actually maybe I'll get a small advantage, try and grind out a win, because these two bishops, I need to open it up more because that knight's quite good. It's going to end up. And I also have structural damage. So I have more manoeuvring. Very nice centralising move that. Another good move. Now I decided that's actually quite a bad move that. Actually the best move actually was to play f3 in this position. It's quite annoying for white. If he takes my queen then I get to repair my pawn structure. If he plays g3, then I've got a very annoying form pawn. I can play moves like bishop d4. And if he takes it, then queen takes, king h2. So f4 is actually quite dangerous for white. But I just took his queen off because I thought now it sidelines his knight. Bishop's now very strong. Now I was trying to get rid of my double pawns. g3, bishop e2, I took. King moved, bishop e3. This is about equal this, with my bishop pair making up for the double pawns. Bring the king in, because in the end game the king's a very important piece. But now I had to stop writing about this box. I was down to less than 5 minutes because it was only an hour and 3/4 for all moves, which is faster than usual. It's usually like an hour and 40 for 40 and then back 20, or in Yorkshire a lot they have an hour and 45 for 40 and then back 15, but this was without a quick play finish. Now I tried to blast the position open. Bishop c2. Bishop e1, attacking this pawn, has got to move here, attack this pawn. I was thinking a lot that I was going to actually win the pawn in some of these positions because I was short of time. Knight comes in. That knight that was very nice to clear my king off e5, which I really wanted to get in. And there is a point. I didn't know how time to calculate it, but I wonder if I can get away with bishop takes h4. But I saw some stuff which I didn't like. But doesn't really seem to be anything that bad. I can't remember what I was worried about. Knight c6 so can always be answered by bishop e1, but there was something I was worried about in this position, but I can't remember it. But I didn't take that pawn anyway, I battled it. I just took the knight. Because I thought this position is almost certainly going to be drawn, because I can get rid of my double pawn. That was the idea. He has to take or he loses. But now c5 it starts to get really tense. My opponent had time, unlike me. King e7, good move, getting 10-point bishop. Then I took f4, because past pawns must be pushed. Bishop f5. He transposes if you play d6 check first, attacking that pawn. The reason this is going to be drawn is because my although I'm going to lose the a pawn, my f pawn creates enough counterplay. In fact, it forces a repetition very soon. So I just push the pawn, takes this one, but then bishop e2. And now white has to play bishop g4 to pin my pawn to the bishop. So if I play f2, that's a blunder because he takes my bishop and stops it from queening. But I can play bishop d1. So now I am threatening f2 and wins. Because he can't take the bishop because it was queen then. So he can stop me by bishop h3, but I can play bishop back to e2. And he has to play bishop g4 again, and then he offered a draw, which of course I accepted because it's drawn and I have 2 minutes left. And if white tries to win this position by sacking the bishop to try and get on his pawns through, because so let's see. I go back. If white tries, say bishop h3, f2, king b6, queen, a5, takes b6. See, the thing is, although it's a rook's pawn, I'm going to get to the corner in time if I play correctly. Or we can even stop the pawn from queening. Or we can play, say, king b7. We play this check. King b8. No, not this one. King d7. a7. h5. Queens. Take it. King takes, and then we just about win this position. King can't get back in time, and the king is shouldered off, and black wins. So he has to take the draw in this position. So I'm a pawn down, but this f pawn is too strong. So not a bad result, and gave me some confidence for the next rounds. And stay tuned for more Calderdale games, and please leave in the comments some thoughts. Thanks very much.